dead. Vara is
My Valkyrie flew far in search of Vara.
The shadow dwindled, but
Caiaphas is dead. Vara is missing, and the rebels grow bold as we delay. If we are to maintain order, Vara must claim her father's throne. She must be found. As fate would have it, we have the bounty hunter in our sway. He will locate Vara for me, or die trying.
My Valkyrie flew far in search of Vara, chasing rumors on the wind. I accompanied the bounty hunter into the Outlands, where a wounded band of Sansari slavers gave us our first sign of hope. It seems they had encountered someone within the Shadowlands who made them reconsider their vile ways.
The shadow dwindled behind us slowly, until we turned a corner and emerged near some forgotten border town.
My Valkyrie flew far in search of... The centaurs told us of the woman they'd attacked, and of the strange man who accompanied her. I knew it was Vara, but who was her companion? We pressed toward the Shadowlands in pursuit, pausing only for provisions at an old shiftstone mining camp. The bounty hunter was a skilled tracker, but as we gained ground on our quarry, the sky became choked with sand and stinging winds. Our path was blocked. Worse still, I was forced to land and put my trust in my companion. I hadn't noticed at first, but the Shadowlands had begun to envelop us, slowly, steadily, step by step and day by day. Most who wander in never come out, and those that do are twisted and scarred, often beyond comprehension. Just as the last gleam of the distant sun disappeared behind us, we were set upon.
After days in the shadow, covering miles of sunless, twisting terrain sand, we spotted them. A wisp of a woman in the lead, and a tall man with a staff following behind. The man might have been smiling as we drew near, but he sure wasn't friendly.
It felt like drowning, the endless pressure on my chest, clawing upwards toward a wavering light. And then, as the Valkyrie's sword severed the cord around my neck, I burst through to the surface and took a breath. Azendel's amulet lay broken on the ground, its cruel shape burned into my skin, a final gift from my vanished mentor. They had come to take me back to Argenport. My father was dead. I was to be queen? It all swam through a fog of confused memories. I was free, but had I traded one captor for another? The shadow dwindled behind us slowly, until his voice, ceaseless, drawing me deeper. Find me, my child. With every step I took through that shadow-soaked land, more dark whispers wound around my head. Worse still, things began to form from the shadow itself. The deeper I went into the shadow, the more insistent the whispers became. I had to be on the right track. You have much to learn. There, on an endless plain, I found a caravan covered in runic markings. Without warning, warriors charged towards me, bellowing in a language I had never heard. The sky was sunless and crimson overhead, and I waded through a thick, clinging mist. As I journeyed, I passed skeletons that belonged to no beast I had ever seen, and the stars overhead were unrecognizable. I was alone, until I rounded a tight bend to come abruptly upon a familiar figure. But how was she here? Night in the Shadowlands, or what passes for it, is most often ink black and thick. Nightmares and worse prowl the airless dark. I had just taken shelter against an outcropping of an ancient waystone, when a glowing being stepped out of the shadow, clothed in light and bearing a dire warning. I emerged from a twisted path among tangled roots to the looming walls of a warped stone building. It almost looked like the throne room in the spire back in Argenport. Light glowed from within. The whispers had led me here, to this place. It was time to end this.
The man you know as Azendel is a radiant of terrible power. He stood behind my throne for years, guiding, advising, and leading me to ruin with whispers of the throne's power and my potential. When the strangers came, his work, I now realize, Azendel finally swayed me to tap into the power of the Eternal Throne. A blinding light consumed me, and I found myself in another realm. It was beautiful, and somehow mine. And now you have found me, and heeded my call. There is a great wrong for us to right, and much to do to repair the damage of Azendel's treachery.
Together we tracked Azendel through the wasted shadow, ever deeper into this warped place. My scar burned as we drew near, and I could see the pain on my father's face as the echoes of Azendel's influence over him returned. Then he struck. The cracked earth spasmed as a massive figure emerged, with a gloating voice that I knew all too well. Azendel was defeated. My mind was once more my own, my lost father found. There should have been joy, or at least relief. Caiaphas stretched out his hand, an invitation, a journey beyond the shadow, to explore what lies on the other side. But I turned away. I knew things now that none outside of this place had dreamed. An in-between world of forgotten secrets, pathways spinning on a wheel. At its center, the Eternal Throne. My throne. There was work to do. I was going home.